Here is John 11 verses 1 to 10, from the New International Version, NIV. 1. Now a man named Lazarus was sick. He was from Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha. 2. This Mary, whose brother Lazarus now lay sick, was the same one who poured perfume on the Lord and wiped his feet with her hair. 3. So the sisters sent word to Jesus, Lord, the one you love is sick. For when he heard this, Jesus said, This sickness will not end in death. No, it is for God's glory so that God's Son may be glorified through it. 5. Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. 6. So when he heard that Lazarus was sick, he stayed where he was 2 more days. 7. And then he said to his disciples, Let us go back to Judea. 8. But Rabbi, they said, a short while ago the Jews there tried to stone you, and yet you are going back? 9. Jesus answered, Are there not 12 hours of daylight? Anyone who walks in the daytime will not stumble, for they see by this world's light. 10. It is when a person walks at night that they stumble, for they have no light. Expounding on John 11 verses 1 to 10. The context is set with Lazarus being sick. Lazarus, Mary, and Martha were close friends of Jesus, often mentioned together in the Gospels. The significance of Mary: the text makes specific mention of Mary, highlighting her act of devotion where she anointed Jesus' feet. This detail underscores the depth of relationship between this family and Jesus. The message to Jesus: Mary and Martha's message emphasizes their faith and connection to Jesus, the one you love is sick. They didn't explicitly ask him to come and heal Lazarus, perhaps trusting in his judgment and compassion. Jesus' response: Jesus asserts that Lazarus's sickness will not lead to death, but is for the glory of God. This theme of God's glory being revealed in the midst of suffering and challenges recurs throughout the Gospel. Jesus' delay: even though Jesus loved the family, he did not immediately rush to Lazarus. His delay has a purpose, and it lays the groundwork for the dramatic resurrection miracle that follows later in the chapter. Returning to Judea: Jesus decides to return to Judea, which surprises his disciples. Judea was a place of danger for Jesus at this time. The disciples were aware of the risks involved in returning there. The daylight analogy, Jesus' reference to 12 hours of daylight, signifies the time he has on earth to do his Father's work. His metaphor about walking in daylight and not stumbling alludes to the spiritual illumination and divine guidance he possesses. In contrast, walking in darkness, without divine guidance, leads to stumbling. Jesus was confident in his timing and actions because he was aligned with God's will. In this passage, we see a blend of emotion, faith, danger, and purpose. Jesus, fully aware of God's plan, uses the situation not just to demonstrate his authority over life and death, but also to deepen the faith of his followers.